Donald Trump is running for president again in 2024, just announced yesterday. It's kind of a big announcement here, and kind of early, very, very early for, I know the presidential, uh, candidates, they like to get on board early on so that they can have plenty of time to, raise money and do all that for the campaign. And I don't have a problem with it, if they wants to, and but I think what I really want to talk about is what he did last night, with his speech last night. He did a really good job of talking about, what is good for the American people, what he's going to do for the American people. He didn't talk about what, for him, what he's going to do, what he is, or why he wants it, or what he wants, for him, whatever. He did a really good job of talking about, what the American people want and what they really need. And I think that's important. That's definitely important, So I think we need to really focus on that. Like I said, he did a really good job talking about that. And he also, whether you like it or not, he spoke a lot of facts last night, about the economy and, the way everything's going. Obviously, he does like to exaggerate, at times somewhat, but you really take into what he's actually talking, and he's actually speaking the truth. He's not like the politicians. He's Donald Trump's one of those, you talk about, they talk about, he's like a doctor that's got bad bedside manner, but he's a really good doctor, and he's going to actually fix what is actually wrong with you. That's kind of what he is with, with this country. It's what he kind of did the first time. He didn't fix everything, and obviously there's not, I don't agree with everything that he did, in his first term, but I think overall, when you look at his overall body of work, Donald Trump did a very good job running this country. He brought inflation was at a all-time low. I think it was like 0.5% inflation or something, which is way less than 8-9% inflation we're at right now. When you talk, and then when you actually add in like the housing markets and everything, we're actually talking closer to around 17% right now with the housing market. If you include the housing market into inflation, which it always had been until, I don't know when they changed that, but just recently. And I think that's mainly probably because they can kind of skew the numbers a little bit and make it sound better than, or not as bad as what it actually is. So anyway, we're talking around 0.5% inflation under Donald Trump. Gas prices were down. They were, I think, under $3 a gallon when he left office. Around $2.50-ish, somewhere in there. They were even down, I know, at one point, and this was during the pandemic, so you kind of take it with a grain of salt, but they were even down under $1 a gallon here, where I'm at, for a short period of time, but and kind of hovered down, pretty consistently around $2 a gallon there for quite a while. He did a very good job of bringing, with our energy policy. He did a very good job with the energy policy. If you don't like anything else that he did, you can't argue that. He did a very good job. He built up the reserves, or tried to build up the reserves best he could. Our oil reserves, strategic, and had fuel prices down. He was working on the pipeline, and he okayed trying to get pipelines so we can get cheaper oil, cheaper energy, which I know a lot of people don't want, the fossil fuels, whatever, but right now that's the best option we have. Whether you like it or not, that's the best option we have. And if you're really wanting to try and bring people out of poverty, the only way to do that is with cheaper energy, and the best way to do that is with fossil fuels right now. So you can forget about the electric cars and the wind energy and solar energy and all that, because it's just not plausible right now. It's too expensive, and it's the energy that amount that it would take is ridiculous. I did a video here a few days ago talking about nuclear energy and how that would be really the only plausible option if you really want to go that way of electric cars and doing that. The cheapest, best energy source is nuclear, but they don't want that. But regardless, Donald Trump is very, very good at telling it like it is and actually getting things done. He didn't start any new wars. He was able to take out the, Soleimani or whatever his name was, the one head of ISIS or whatever, and I think it was one of the main generals in Iran or whatever, and didn't start a war. Why is that? I think when you really think about it, it makes sense. Because Donald Trump's one of those that he's perfect for this country when we need it. Is he the best candidate right now? That's an argument you can make. I think there might be some others that might have some, opportunity, have a good opportunity. But I like Donald Trump. I think he's going to do the right thing. But Donald Trump's one of those that he is just crazy enough that their enemies don't know whether he's going to, they don't know when he's bluffing. And that's important. Because he can go in and negotiate with these, our enemies and stuff. And they don't know whether he's bluffing or not. So they have to believe what he's saying, whether he actually is, telling the truth or not. They still have to believe that, and that's important. But he's never started a war. He didn't start any new wars. He didn't, other countries didn't invade. He's the first president since the, 90s that Russia didn't invade another country. In his time, China was coming to the negotiating table. North Korea hadn't launched any nuclear weapons in 5 years. Since I think 2017, they hadn't done any nuclear missile testing or anything that way. And since 2017, they just did this year. Biden is extremely weak. The Democrat Party is extremely weak, and that is the key. You have to remember, if we want a strong country and we want, the best country we can possibly have, you got to have a guy like Donald Trump. Whether that is Donald Trump or not, that's out the window. But he is a guy. We need somebody like him that's willing to speak the truth, that's willing to, even if he exaggerates at times or whatever, but he's willing to speak the truth. He's willing to tell it like it is, and he's willing to get things done. We don't have that right now. And that's what we need.